Have you guys ever left your body? I know this is so random, but I think I want to make this series just a random series where I just talk about things in my life. And this was something that happened to me that completely changed my life forever. And it happened, I want to say 3 years ago. I might be wrong with that. But it happened on Friday the 13th, surprisingly. Like, I don't know if that means anything or not, but it did happen on Friday the 13th, and I thought that was cool because, supernatural things. Anyways, so to break it down, the reason this happened to me was because for 2 weeks straight, up to that point, I was listening to this guided meditation on YouTube when I would fall asleep on how to leave my body. And supposedly it would help you leave your body. And, I guess one of these nights it worked. After 2 weeks of trying consistently, it worked for me. And I left my body. And, to give a little backstory, this was a crazy period of my life because, you know, I was having lucid dreams almost every single night. And I heard about out of body experiences online and how people have left their body and how like crazy surreal it is. And I wanted to experience that. So I would do these meditations in the hopes that I would leave my body. And one night it worked. And to kind of break it down, okay, the first thing that happened was it kind of felt like, how you're underwater, like when you're at a lake or whatever, and you're like, if you go underwater, that feeling of being underwater. It was like that. It was like that feeling, and I felt like I was underwater. Okay, and I know it's so random and so weird, but I felt like I was like peeking my head up just above the surface of the water, and I was kind of like in between like being in the water and outside the water, and like that was me, like between my waking life and like leaving my body. Then that's how I describe it. And what I could see when I was like peeking up just above the water, and that's what I describe it as. Again, this is just how it felt. I saw myself. I saw myself in my bedroom, and he was standing on the other side of the room. I literally saw myself. And what he did was he literally walked up to me, and I'm not even lying. Like this was like, could be a dream or not, I don't know. But he walked up to me. He walked up beside me, and he grabbed my arm. Okay, he literally grabbed my arm, and I felt it. It felt real, and he threw me through the wall. Like he genuinely threw me through the wall. And in that moment, I thought I was gonna crash into the wall and I was gonna get hurt. But I went right through the wall, and I was floating. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I look all around me and I'm outside my house, the house that I was living in at the time with my sister. I was outside that house, and it was such a crazy experience because it felt so real. It wasn't just like a normal dream or a lucid dream because, you could tell those are dreams, but it felt like waking day life, like how it does right now. Like, pinch me, like, is this real? Like, that's how it felt. And I honestly didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did was I kind of just flew around a little bit around my house, and it looked the same. I saw the guy who's usually out there smoking his cigar, and it felt normal. So I flew back into my room, and on my bed, okay, I didn't even have like a bed frame at this time. It was just a mattress on the ground because I just moved into this place. On my bed was me, and I looked dead. I genuinely thought I was dead. I was actually kind of panicking, but this voice in my head was telling me it's okay. Everything's fine. You're still alive. You just left your body. And that was crazy because, like, why is this voice talking to me? I don't know what this voice was, but every time I had a question, it would be instantly answered in the snap of a finger. It doesn't matter what the question was, I would get the answer for it right away. And, anyways, I literally went down to my body because, first of all, I was like terrified and also intrigued at the same time. I went down to my body and started poking it. But as I was poking, I was like, there's that voice in my head that was telling me, if you keep poking it, you're going to get sucked back into your body and you're going to wake up. I'm like, okay, I don't really want to do this right now. So I flew away from my body. I was like 5 feet in the air, like looking down at it. It's still weird. And then I flew outside my bedroom. My door was closed, but I flew right through the door because you could go through walls, I guess, when you leave your body. And I went into my sister's room because I wanted to test something. I wanted to see if she was there, first of all, and I wanted to see if she was sleeping like she was before I went to bed. And there she was sleeping with my niece, like normal, and everything just felt normal. I went to my kitchen, it all looked the same, like the whole house looked the same, everything was the same, except I wasn't in my body. And anyways, from that point forward, I was like, okay, I was kind of spooked out. I'm gonna be honest, I was like really spooked out. And I wanted to go back to my body, and I wanted to wake up, and I wanted to contemplate what I just experienced. So that's what I did. I went up to my body, and I went up to touch it, and it felt like I was getting sucked in. Like, you know how like in the movies or whatever, there's like a ghost that like could possess somebody. It felt like I was getting sucked back into my body. Like my soul was going whoosh back into my body. And it literally sounded like that. It sounded like whoosh, like kind of like a wave almost. And then I was in my body. I woke up, and it took me like 5 minutes to process what just happened, and I was a little like on edge. But then everything went back to normal. And I've been contemplating on that experience ever since, because I've never experienced something so real and so crazy at the same time that like completely defies what I knew at the time about life. And I genuinely, up to this point now, believe there is so much more out there that we don't understand. And it is my mission, genuinely, to find the truth, and find the truth, at least in my life. And this is a part of that truth. And something I've learned from this experience is that, maybe there is something more after death. And this experience kind of made me less terrified of dying, because it kind of felt peaceful when I left my body. There was no pain, there was nothing like that. There was just this beautiful voice that was talking to me whenever I had an answer or a question. And it was just beautiful, and it was cool. And, funny thing was, when I did wake up, that guy who was smoking a cigar, he was outside. He was smoking his cigar when I woke up. I checked out that window and he was there. So, like, I genuinely think that was a confirmation that, like, this experience was real. And if there's anyone else out there who has experienced this, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It is absolutely insane. And until you experience something like this, you're never going to understand just how crazy it is. And I just wanted to talk about this today because it's still something that I think about from time to time, because I don't think I'll ever experience anything as crazy as that again. And I hope I do, but I don't think I will, because, man, it was insane. And I just genuinely feel a lot less terrified of dying. And I honestly think there might even be an afterlife, or at least something before you die. I don't know. So that's just my take on it all. And, overall, it was a net positive. It was a positive experience. And it was a really cool experience. And I really think there are a lot of experiences you could have that are really amazing in your dreams. Like, even if it's just lucid dreaming. Like, I was somebody who would lucid dream every single night. And it was awesome. I actually went to all these crazy places. Like, I have so many examples that I would love to talk about, but I want to keep those for future videos. But there is so much to uncover in the mind that we don't know about, and that is unconscious. And if you can find a way to start unpacking all of this, you're going to realize, like, life is so much more than, what you see. It is so much more than that. And there is another side to life when you're sleeping. And if you could learn to, understand that, and, even play with that and have fun with that, you're going to have some pretty cool experiences. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Thank you for watching, guys. And this is day 2 of this journey, and I think what I'm gonna turn this into is just a series where I just talk about random things and yap about random things that intrigue me and, like, interest me, and this is just one of those things. So thank you for watching.